Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. I didn't win nationals.
Yes, this is this and that. And today we are thrilled to welcome the winner of solo dance nationals in the senior division, Brooke Tufts. Brooke, welcome to the skating lesson.
Hello, thank you guys.
Yes, Brooke, you really put everybody on edge this season in New Jersey. They were really, you had a lot of support. Everybody was really on your tail about this season. Walk us through what, your nationals experience.
Nationals was great. It was amazing this season. Just from day one, being in the rink, all the vibes were right. Everything was good. The people working were amazing. The whole competition setup was great to start off. The rink was really nice. We got there. It was the first day I was there. I didn't even have practice. I was just there to get done some of those icedance.com interviews. And then just to watch some people and stuff, say my hellos and everything. Through the whole competition, I was doing the interviews for icedance.com, which was really fun. Actually, it was a really nice little distraction. And then practices were great, and otherwise the competition was obviously great. Everybody had really great skates. There were a lot of tears from a lot of people. It was a really emotional competition for some reason. Last nationals was not this emotional. Obviously, winning was again very emotional, having come in first place my first year, and then second place, and then taking back the win. Everybody skated amazing, but the tension was high for sure. There were a lot of feelings and emotions.
So people have seen your videos, obviously, and you've gotten a lot of attention this season from a lot of different outlets. So was that more pressure for you? And is it something you discussed like with Kristen or anyone, or what was that like?
I kind of love it. That sounds really cocky. I don't mean for it to, but I've always been a performer. My mom, will never forget this. Skate mom Jen, when she was still truly a skate mom, one time was trying to get me to land my double axel, and it was over the summer at Menin Arena. So she went to the other rink and grabbed a group of hockey boys to make them watch me, so then I would have to do it. So it's always been a thing where if you put me in front of a crowd, I will do it. I will show and I will execute. So I kind of loved it this season, and the crowd at Nationals was amazing.
If you listen to the video, you can hear them go crazy for you, especially in the free dance. So
a really good crowd.
Okay.
Wait, I'm always curious to ask this question. Like, everyone knows you're going to compete, everyone sees you there. Are there kinds of comments that fans will give you that support you? And are there some kind of comments that will stress you out? We've talked to some people, like, let's say they know they're going to the Olympics, and then suddenly everyone at the convenience store is like, hope you win, bring home the gold. And they're like, ooh, don't talk about the result. Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's pressure. Did you find like you responded to things more than others?
Not really, but I know what you mean a little bit, going into it before any of the seniors, any of the combined events had even happened yet. There were plenty of people coming up to me, wishing me good luck, being like, I really hope you kill it. Like, your programs are great. Like, bring it home, stuff like that. But I knew I was trained and I knew I was ready. And I said to everybody, the only thing I can do is skate my heart out. And from there it goes.
Yeah.
Well, earlier in the season, you and Lucas did like joint interviews together, but there were reports of it being like more competitive between the two of you at the competition. Is that something that you felt?
I think maybe a little bit, back even in Texas, when we both did an interview with icedance.com, they interviewed both of us separately. And they did call us rivals. And I think from then on, the rest of the season, because we only saw each other at Lake Placid after that, that name kind of stuck a little bit. So it was definitely a little more tense there. And, I've spoken about this before too. Me and Lucas are two great competitors, and we're great with each other. So we keep our own headspaces, and we both respect that very well.
But the people around you, I think, are also very competitive. Like someone said he was going to drop a bomb right before you competed, and maybe there were
everybody wants to see what's gonna happen.
everybody. Yeah. So what does happen from here, Brooke? Because you're supposed to go international, but nobody has gotten the rules yet. So are you getting an 80s program? Like, what is your next few weeks like?
So I am doing a couple of shows for Ice Dance International. Thank you, Doug Webster, for inviting me to that. And then I am gonna do river dance at those shows. So I have about another 2-3 weeks of river dance. I thought I was gonna be done, and then Doug was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it for you." And then I am getting an 80s program as soon as possible. New programs are going to be worked like this because we don't know when an international competition is going to happen. The rules could come out tomorrow. They could come out next week. They could come out in 2 weeks. We really aren't sure. But once they are out, any international competition, location, anything can be like, okay, we're going to do solo dance here, and this is who we're going to bring in and everything. So we don't really know. So I want to be prepared for it.
Yeah, well, you're in ice dance, which is the most elitist of all of the disciplines. So a lot of people have thoughts about your music and a lot of opinions now on what you should be doing. And you're now entering the zone of judgment, Brooke, because people know who you are and they have expectations. Welcome. Now, what music choices are you considering for the 80s and for a new free dance?
For the 80s, we do have a couple of options ranging from Paula Abdul, Madonna.
Basic.
Yeah, but they're iconic and they're good.
Yeah, but basic. I mean, basic, Brooke. How many of these teams that you watch at the competition are doing the same music over and over? Everybody's sick of it already.
Well, it is the 80s.
Yeah, but no, there are tons of choices. And if you do Madonna, there's like different songs that you can pick than Material Girl, right? Or the Australian team that thinks that they should make it rain.
I wasn't planning on doing Material Girl, don't worry.
That's okay, Brooke, but there's a lot of different options with attitude, and a lot of people pick very basic choices. We're embarrassed for them. Okay, Brooke? We don't
about it. She was born in 1980. She grew up.
Okay.
We'll bring that in.
And what about this free dance? Because people, like that word Carmen got thrown around and people were really horrified and upset by this. Is this something that's still on the table? Like what's going on?
It is still a thought, yes. We need to we're planning on getting on the ice and I think messing around with some things and seeing what we can come up with. I have a feeling Dave will be there that morning that happens.
You let me know what time.
Dave's gonna walk in the rink and just start screaming my name. I could be on the ice and I could hear him. I'll be in the office getting my stuff on and I could hear him. Who knows? But
wait, you think I'm loud? Your competitor said that he didn't want to hear your voice in the lobby, Brooke. Okay, you think I'm loud. So I don't think that's really like a thing. Now, talk about your run-in with Brady Tennell. Why were you running into Brady Tennell, who apparently knew that you won solo dance nationals?
She did. It was actually kind of funny. No, I just went to my local home rink today. I took the week off after nationals. And then I knew, obviously, I have these couple of shows coming up. So I was like, okay, it's time to, skate again, get my butt moving a little bit, especially if I'm going to do river dance. And she happened to be there. It was at Menon Arena where Benoit was over the summer and stuff doing choreography. So she's been in and out of there a bunch recently. And we just happened to both hop on the same freestyle session. And I almost crashed into her. I did. It was clearly a Monday and I clearly haven't skated in a week and I did a crossover and I wiped out into the boards. It was actually really funny. Totally almost took her out. It felt really bad. And then
she's been injured for years, Brooke. Okay, she's had a back injury, leg injury. She can't get injured again, Brooke.
Me too. I was like, how Dave on the elite sessions, we all yell up for some reason. None of us yell watch, excuse me. We're all like up, up, up. I don't know why, but that's what we do. I'm sliding into the boards and I'm like up, up, up. I was like, I'm really sorry. But then we were both just practicing, doing whatever. And I actually just asked if I could borrow a tissue from her because she had a box and I just needed a tissue. And she was like, yeah, no problem. And then she congratulated me on my title and she was just really nice about it. That was all.
You know, when you skate, Alexei and I actually just like we just moved to the side.
Mhm.
And then, because like these ice dance programs, no one knows where the hell they're going. Okay.
No.
They go left and back and forth. There's no shapes. Okay.
There's
Yeah.
not.
So we just watch her. We make comments that she has the power of Hubble and Donahue. You know, like there's a lot of happening on Brooke skating. Yes.
Yes.
You know, analyzing, thinking if she did it better yesterday. A lot of conversations going on.
There's a lot. Typically, I just yell Dave's name. I'm like, Dave, I'm coming.
We know. We know.
I give him enough warning time.
Yes. Yeah. But we were going to so that happened. Brady didn't know. Next time she will probably, know to stay out of your way. But did you see her programs and how was she looking?
I just saw a footwork sequence. It was her first session of the day, I think. So she was doing all the Benoit exercises. I don't know how she can skate with a band like this I think she did it for at least 45 minutes of like different exercises and stuff. My shoulders would kill me. And then just at the very end, she was doing some footwork sequences and had started jumping, but I was getting off the ice at that time. So
were you happy with
footwork looked really nice. I didn't hear the music though.
Were you happy with her edges? Like the turns look clean? Like what do you think?
They looked pretty good.
How are your turns getting compared to this year or last year? Because you were trying to work on your clean turns. So
I was pretty consistent with level 3s this season. Obviously, yes, we want level 4s, but the season before I was consistent with level 2s. So there was an improvement.
Right. Well,
as you talk about this moving to like an international scene. So what other countries right now are sort of up on the solo dance? Like, are other countries having as intense a nationals experience as you have?
I'm not really sure if it's as intense, but they are having competitions and events. I believe off the top of my head, I know Canada, England, I believe Paris is getting involved. France is getting involved. I know Georgia was interested in it. China, Japan, they were both getting interested in it because China and Japan actually both have something that's like solo dance. It's just not called solo dance. And then I believe I'm missing one country off the top of my head. I'm not sure. Poland was discussing having a competition if the rules came out soon enough. So that's just kind of up in the air, but there are many countries that are interested in it. And I think once there is an international competition, even more will be interested in it.
Okay. I have ideas for skaters who should be doing it. Obviously, David Shapiro. I mean, we're going international.
Obviously, David Shapiro.
I'm sorry, Brooke, if I'm going to rig the field and make it harder for you, but what about Queen Paulina Edmonds? We see her skating. She loves a twizzle sequence on Instagram.
She's getting married now.
Yeah.
Congratulations to her. A gold medal goes, she didn't win enough international gold medals during her day and didn't get her due, which she let us know in the first 6 episodes of that podcast of hers. I listened to those. Let me tell you something, and Paulina's aware of it. I think that she could get the crown that she deserves from solo dance. And
she's like a freestyle twizzle queen, so probably.
That's shade. Freestyle twizzle queen, like as opposed to ice dance?
Because she was a freestyle skater.
Right, but you're not liking those twizzles? Like you think that like dance twizzles need to cover more?
Listen, that one variation she does, I actually don't know if that would count. I'm thinking. I don't know if that would count as a catch up, but either way, she'd be pretty mean to them. She'd be pretty good.
She'd be pretty good. Listen, she passed all of her dance tests.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
I didn't know that.
You need to listen to Paulina's podcast.
And then you didn't watch the interview, yeah.
Let me tell you, you need to pay attention to Queen Paulina. She's going to be wearing something fierce, in practice, obviously, when she's not going to Bali. And I think that we could get her into the international competition just for 1 or 2. I mean, come on, right?
Well,
I mean, I know they haven't been forthcoming with the rules or the info or anything like that. But so like, if they did do it, when would you anticipate about that this international would happen?
Sooner rather than later.
Yes.
We really are.
Like before the calendar year ended, would you think?
Hopefully.
Yeah,
because as soon as that. That's not a lot of time for not knowing the rules as of now.
I'm stressed out that Sean is going to blow this. And I'll say this to his face if you're watching, Sean, because you need Japanese money to make this happen if you want a future for your sport and your job, and then people in the ISU will love you. Marin Honda. She's got the face people want. She has the expression. We've never seen someone that charismatic before on the ice. And you know what? She's terrible at jumping. So you know what? She's currently trying to do 2 triples. She tried to do ice dance with a partner. I think we could get her in solo dance. She's skating to the Little Mermaid. She tried to do a difficult exit with her spin. And when you're only doing a toe and a sow, like your Jill Trenery in 1988, I don't know why you go for the difficult exit on the spin. Like, why is that the thing that you challenge yourself with? Like, it's going to matter, right? She kind of fell on the exit to her spin. And I think we could just get Marin Honda in solo dance. Maybe Unsu could come back. And we could really make this discipline happen, Brooke. Okay, it's better for everybody. All right.
I think it's gonna be good once it takes off. We just
Also,
gotta
it needs to take off. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Billy from that show Freeze in the UK, he had a partner, but I follow his Instagram. You know, training doesn't look to be the #1 priority that we're at least showing people that we're putting out. I think he's done solo dance before. I mean, even Queen Olivia Smart did solo dance at one point. So I think that, you know, we can really get some of these people to participate.
Dave knows more. I mean, Dave always knows more than I do, but Dave really knows more than I do.
Correct, bro. Correct.
Like, I'm amazed because actually, as we talk about, like, oh, we could borrow someone who used to be a freestyle skater, or oh, this person was an ice dancer. Would you find that, like, that transition is awkward? Like, is it awkward to be doing those patterns but without a partner?
Yes, it is. It is definitely different. Some are more difficult than others. Some could be easier. But there have been times like the fin step, tango romantica, even some parts of the Argentine tango that are much more difficult solo. You really have to be a really, really strong skater to be able to pull off some of those things. I mean, personally, even me, when I did fin step, it was very difficult for me.
Because what makes it easier with a partner, that you're like sharing the weight almost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. There's one part in the fin step in the very beginning, after all those little hops, you do a forward outside twizzle on your left foot, and then you end, so it's 1.5 rotations, you end right into a back outside progressive. That solo was like the hardest part for me. We used to say that I looked like Kristen's kid, Lev, who is now 5 years old. So at the time he was like 3, 4. Used to look like him trying to run.
Okay.
So, but when you have a partner, you have somebody to catch and immediately put you in that right spot. So that's no problem.
Okay.
Can it still be hard? Absolutely. But it is definitely different.
Okay. Lev is skating now. He's doing so well. Okay. We just need to.
Lev is killing it.
Killing it. Doing ballroom as well. You know?
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brooke. We are really invested in this journey of yours. Please run music ideas by us so that we don't have any, problems this season.
Here's what I will say. Let's say you do like something like Carmen. I bet there's something else that would give you that same feeling of Carmen.
This is true.
That merely wasn't Carmen.
This is true.
Just a thought.
Who knows?
As long as you're inspired, Brooke.
Dave wants me to do Barbie.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know if I should take that as offense or not. But
you didn't even see the movie. And Brooke, you're giving away a great idea. It's all about the song by Billie Eilish, who all of the Russians loved. Okay, there was a whole era.
I'm using that as a barometer. Well, then I guess it's great.
Brooke, you're blonde as hell. You're Jersey. Let's keep it real, okay? And you could do the up tempo, like Dua Lipa part, and the middle song would be the Billie Eilish, which like sucks the oxygen out of the room, okay?
I think Dave needs to do it.
No, I think so.
I have no
personal performance for Dave.
No, I don't want that. I see you skate all the time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have an idea for my solo free dance that's very bold. And well, yeah.
With time you will be sharing. That's not a disclosure for now.
Well, Renee Roca is making my free dance. So we haven't like fully like sold Renee on it yet. So I don't want to like say anything. But yeah, but
Right.
Renee is, one of the queens of the earth. She's one of the 7 wonders of the figure skating world. So this is what we all need to be doing. So yeah, we're going bold this year. And I will be seeing you in Boston at this Dick Button Festival, Brooke, where you're going.
Are you coming?
Yes, I'm coming. Okay. I already talked to Doug Webster about something else, and he told me that he bought a house next to your grandparents, which are not your grandparents in Jersey. So all of your grandparents have connections to skating in some respect.
It was the oddest thing because it's my dad's parents. They have no connection to skating. None at all. I couldn't tell you the last time they watched me skate live. They know.
Your grandparents here are like tiger skating grandparents. They're like invested.
Well, Cece is my grandmother.
Yeah.
My grandfather's is just there to travel.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they have no tie. Doug told me that he actually moved in 2 doors down from them because they recently built this brand new rink up there that like 3 years ago, I want to say. I haven't even been to yet. And I guess he ran into my grandparents and they were like, oh, my granddaughter's a figure skater. And he just kind of thought it was going to be like, a little girl that's like growing up in skating and stuff. And then they said my name and Doug was like, that's your granddaughter?
Oh, you really do have a granddaughter in skating?
I do have a granddaughter that skates.
Oh, that's funny.
I already talked to Brooke. I had to yell at him because Alyssa Sisney didn't have a proper education about figure skating queens. And I said, JoJo and Dorothy are on the board. Why doesn't Alyssa know some of these basic things? And then we had to talk about Brooke Tufts. And I said, she needs her artistic awakening, Doug. You need this. This is why you have been brought into her life. Okay. You are brought into her life to inform, and he knows JoJo Starbuck. He knows Dorothy. Okay, I don't know if you know who Dorothy is, Brooke, but
I know who Dorothy is.
Of the what? Okay, you're young, Brooke. Do you know who JoJo is?
JoJo choreographed one of my old programs.
Okay, thank God. Okay, like we need to bring these queens into your life. They need to have opinions on music, and yes, all right.
I'll discuss with them when I see them.
Yes, all right. We will make this happen. Well, thank you so much, Brooke, and we will be following you this season.
That's right.
Thank you.
Not it, Jonathan, as you just said.
Carmen, I know.
I warned Doug Webster about it. I said, Doug, this is on you. You need to help her. You need to help this girl. This artistic awake. She's young. She's Jersey. Elevate her.
Sing. We all grew up with, didn't there even used to be like a page or something that was like anything but Carmen or something? It was like some sort
Allison Manley, her podcast, Please Don't Skate to Carmen, was her tagline at the end, the way that we say, hold it edge and look sexy, and she'll go, and please don't skate to Carmen.
The thing is, generationally, I guess it's not as we have so many more overused songs now than Carmen. That was really this like 80s, 90s epidemic. And again, all I keep thinking of.
Grew up so if you were in New Jersey, the Russians really came in and like pushed non-Russian coaches like out. Like they got all of the business, right? So Brooke has had so much exposure to like Russian taste. They love a warhorse like Carmen. Oh my God. Right? Okay. Think about how many Carmens she saw at the Ice House, right? It's like everybody wants their moment. It's like you're waiting for your prom dress, you're waiting to skate to Carmen, right? They just.
No, I would say in the last 10 years, there's probably more programs to Moulin Rouge than to Carmen.
In our own rink. Okay, I told them no on day one, but
Yeah. Or The Greatest Showman.
One of the people that was pro Moulin Rouge. And I was like, Brooke, no, don't do this to me. I wasn't in the best mental space to like really fight it though. I was like,
you're like, I was rooting for you. Okay.
I was rooting for you. How dare you?
Moulin Rouge, come on.
Oh man, Jonathan, we really have to get that Marin Honda though in the solo dance. When she competed this week in Japan, I mean, it was a thrill. God loving, we need to make it to the national.
Sheer edges, stunning. Just everything about it, always was.
Yes, to the Little Mermaid. It's what we wanted, right? She's so fabulous. We need her in solo dance. Okay.
Yeah. Reclaim your own sport. Yeah.
She still wants to skate, right?
Well, I didn't realize she had attempted an ice dance partnership. It just wasn't clicking.
I guess. I mean, there's that video of them doing some twizzles together, but who knows what? I don't really know what happened, but yeah.
Solo dance would be sort of an ideal transition then.
Oh my goodness, she could be in the shows when Shoma is skating. She could twizzle around him. I mean, I'm seeing the possibility. She could be in the Hanyu one-man show as like an opening act or a chorus girl, or I really see this moving like the Eiscapades, which I do believe we need to like modernize and bring back. I mean,
yeah,
she has that JoJo Starbuck energy, is like starring in the Eiscapades. Obviously, Hanyu is the star of the Eiscapades, right? Like he is the JoJo Starbuck or the Dorothy. But I think like Marin could be, I don't know, like a chorus girl,
like Tom was for Linda Frediani.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Right.
She was in Disney on Ice. All right. We have to be.
I mean, just keeping the show model at large. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But I love feathers. I love
the folly.
Yeah. All of
I
agree. All right. Well, this was a very interesting week, Jonathan.
It was.
But you did get to watch the opening episodes of I Have Nothing with Carolyn Taylor. You said you're midway through episode 4.
Yes, so it's a 6 episode series, and I'm just about to finish.
Getting people on this show over the last couple of days, and like when I can be forceful when I want people to watch something, and the first episode you don't know where it's going. A lot of people. I didn't love episode 1. I didn't love episode 1, and then episode 2 grabbed me.
Yeah,
and each episode got better
because there's more Sandra. But when something like this starts, you don't know how silly it is going to be. And the silliness or the idea that we're like, haha, she's an idiot on the ice, like that, there's nothing in that to me. But then clearly starting in episode 2 where Sandra was really speaking truths, I was like, oh, no, there's going to be some actual substance here. It's not just ha, 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 she doesn't know what she's doing. Yeah.
Sandra was the perfect person to guide her and produce this.
Right.
With the lovely Mae Martin, who steals the scenes. And Mae Martin and I don't mean this in a sexual, I mean this, Mae Martin in the series is kind of the straight man, meaning, oh my God, I feel like I'm
like a Johnny Carson, like the one who's not giving you silly. Yes.
Yes, yeah. But this is an old term that has nothing to do with someone being straight or gay. And Mae Martin, no. But like that person, right? Like that.
You need that.
So Mae delivers just incredible timing and phenomenal. So, yeah, I don't know, so good. But
the premise of the show, of course, starts where she is inspired by a piece of music and can see it. Of course, like what we're talking about in our conversations is, in my opinion, at the competitive level, when it is not for the enjoyment of a show like this the opposite, like wrong way to do it, because you would need to know who is in front of you, and then it should be born of that. I was also intrigued by, and I don't know how much is shtick for the camera and how much is honest, but when they're going on and on, like the choreographer has to have everything planned prior to, which of course as an artist, I disagree entirely. Like Karen Kwan did not come to you with everything predetermined, because then you're not seeing who's in front of you and it's not living and breathing and evolving as you go.
Yeah, it was a little different working with Karen than other choreographers. We were on a time crunch. She watched my skating ahead of time. We also played with each other on this. We also crashed into each other within the first 2 minutes on the ice. We did back inside loops into each other following it. I think 280 people, like, yeah. We did it in sections, and she would kind of listen to the music and get ideas, and then we would try it. And then when I would make mistakes, then we would tweak and change and do it. But the one thing is, a lot of Russians like will listen to the music, but then just kind of choreograph it with like the theme in mind, and it's why it doesn't match. Right. We literally went like bar by bar, like section by section,
where it's literally just listening and you hear the swell. Like, I mean, even to this woman's credit, Carolyn, what's the last name?
Taylor. Yeah.
Like she heard something in the music and she knew she wanted something in that exact moment. And that is ironically what is missing from some of the competitive programs now, is these big moments will happen and nothing is happening that matches it. Or the music is very sparse and open and the person is flailing about for no reason.
Yeah. I would say like with the waterfront that I did, that program is like more repetitive and more about a mood than like everything is happening in a bar, right? So the music that I have this year has more nuances to it. So it's just different. Like, and I worked with the same choreographer every day. So we would like change and add and stuff. But every choreographer is a little different. But with Karen, it was more bar by bar. And Nina was more that too. It's just that her mother changes everything. So it's not like the same program after a while. Yeah, but I think different choreographers do different things, and some don't listen to the music at all. And they
and
just
to me, you're not a choreographer. You're a stager or something. You're a poser, as in you're putting people in poses.
That's how the Danny G programs are, that they're not really to the music.
But I don't find anyone could be listening and then that thinking that's what it calls for.
Notice that the ambient music they choose isn't like when someone's doing piano concerto number 2 and you're doing piano and you hear something and you're like, only that could go there, right?
This is the moment for blank. Yeah.
You're listening to Max Richter, like anything can go there, right?
Yeah,
like
it's kind of vibing, but also as an audience, do we want to vibe for 4 minutes or do we want to go on a journey with hills and valleys in it?
Yeah, but that's part of like how choreography has changed because the music changed. And I truly believe that some of the reason the music changed is because of these IJS requirements. It's just so challenging to actually
then instead of having these
yeah, but and I think too, I was talking to Shepard Clark about this. You have to really like, you need to have Shepard Clark call you on the phone like one day to just talk to him about music or something.
Even from the interview, you can just get that vibe. Yeah.
You think that AI could judge the figures? Oh yes, absolutely. You know, and we were like, yes, we should bring it back and AI should judge it to get rid of political bias and it would make the skating better. Because okay, you need to go to the Flow Skate channel.
I subscribe.
And just watch this documentary. It's like 30 minutes about the 1971 worlds. And listen, there are going to be people here that only watched skating because of a Terry or Hanyu, and they don't understand like the difference in skating skills when someone did figures 4 hours. Listen, I understand that Yuzuru Hanyu is the best at everything that has ever lived, and that there's no one else that has ever been better at anything, according to these fans. However, watch Andre Nepela skate. And watch like just the feeling of his foot over the rocker of the blade and like this work of art, Jonathan, like what people were doing, right? Because they had such a hypersensitivity and body control of doing these figures that when they just skated, the flow was different, right? The jump technique was not as advanced because they didn't practice jumps.
Well, and they didn't have the right equipment even when you look at the blades and the boots and things. Yeah. It's a wonder they did what they did. I mean, a lot of times when you talk to the 80s ladies, that sounds so funny, 80s ladies, they will tell you like, yes, they could have pushed for higher technical content, but also when that much time is being devoted to figures, you don't just sit around trying to up the jumps, you know?
Yeah. But when, yeah, and like in Shepard's mind, it was in the late 70s. He goes, Dave, I like to say that in the late 70s, skating lost its virginity. I was just, okay. You know, you need to have one of those conversations with Shepard, okay? You haven't lived, okay? You haven't lived, Jonathan, unless
well, the male skating in 76 and 8, I mean, it was very exciting.
Yes, okay, yes. And then you need to talk to Flow Skate about what may or may not have happened between some of the male competitors to unnerve each other or throw off their competitive game, the rumors, right? But you know, to watch like Andre Nepela just do back outside threes in the practice, you're like, oh my God. And watch Julie Lynn Holmes, and who told her that she could wear green 3 years after Peggy Fleming wore green?
It's derivative, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay.
She was shaded by that her entire career, and they were both with the Fossies, and she was wearing the headband like Peggy wore at some of the earlier worlds. Oh, it's a moment. But go on the Flow Skate channel. You need to watch the 1971 medal ceremony and know that that is what changed skating forever, and just really take it in. But 1971 Worlds is my happy place. Jonathan, when we die, I hope that, like, when you see the light and your old relatives, I hope that they'll take us there first, to 1971. Okay.
A quick
And,
flyover. Yeah, okay.
and Janet Lynn will be skating for the Lenore melody. Yes, medley.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
And all is right. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I hope JoJo and Kenny will be skating together, Swan Lake, that it's going to the Nutcracker. Yes, fine. Okay. She can say what she wants. Okay. Trixie will be skating with a wristwatch, maybe she'll get the scores that JoJo thought she deserved for that free skate. Yes, who knows? But yeah.
She's just good at figures and she's just doing her thing. Yeah. Okay.
It's better than any ASMR. And listen, and here's the beauty, because someone is going to tell me, what, they did double flips, why do you care? You have no stress that they're going to miss that double flip. Before,
Right.
When you're stressed out, you need a melatonin. Oh my God. Just watch them skate. Okay. Sandra and her brother dressed like Marsha and Greg Brady, like in that practice album. I don't know what they were wearing, and Sandra's like mugging for the camera in 1971. Okay. Yeah.
It's always TV. Yeah.
Mark Militano practicing with his sister Melissa. He had better posture than she did. Okay. You need these some characters. And it's a journey. Okay, this 30-minute documentary.
Right. That's up next. Okay.
Yes. Okay. But what's your favorite Sandra Shady line? And I have nothing.
Well, you did call it ahead of time when they ask her. They're like, "Is everybody happy?" And she goes, "Fabulously happy."
See, that's not my favorite line.
Well, I think a lot of times when she calls out the moment, because all of this is born out of this comedian having done it in her act. So they keep showing the act, and Sandra's like, "You're doing your act. You're not being real. I need you to think real, and I need you to have details." It was those moments when she that's her brilliance, is she knows how to see the whole thing and then gets it. And it was like, you need specificity. You need to stop just talking vaguely about intention. You have to do these things. I don't know. I loved everything about it.
Were you still hot for Paul Martini when he shows up? And
I even was having a conversation with myself about it. I asked that because I was like, are you just lonely at the moment? Or is Paul Martini kind of giving you the energy right now?
He's always giving the energy. Okay.
Yeah. They kept showing the flashback, of course, to that iconic program where she's in the jean shorts and he's in a mesh crop top.
Yes. This
okay.
was really also about Sandra's LGBTQ awakening. Yes, which we talked about in the interview with Sandra, which I recommend watching. It's all about. I told Sandra she needs to watch Tales of the City before she comes back here, and then we could talk about it. Okay. She's a full member of the community now, and she needs to know about, because Sandra also, we're interviewing her and she goes, "Well, Carolyn has a tool belt." And I was like, does Sandra know she's making a lesbian joke there? I'm not sure if she does or she doesn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that for her. Yeah.
Love that for her. But okay. My favorite thing, because we're going to use this from now on. This is going to enter the TSL lexicon. Sandra has done. She's done it again. Remember, she did it with Sarah Hughes when they are listing her myriad.
Well, she's happy. Yeah.
She's happy. Right.
And again, the other one that will always stick in my head is the one about Mickey Ando. I think it's in Vancouver when she's like, "Oh, well, she just doesn't care about the program." No, she'll tell you that. It's why it looks like that.
Or remember with Irina, she's not going to try to be artistic at all, right? But
and she was right.
Sandra providing commentary for the World Pro every year because it was a long day, and think of how exhausting it was. Nancy.
Also, I don't think she understands what the other girls are doing out here.
Usava and Julin, when they did the program to the Bells of Moscow with the hood. Oh, iconic. All right. When she talks about Russian ice dance and her opinions, she was over it that year. Okay, she was overworked. She was choreographing how many programs, directing Stars on Ice. Sergei's dropping dead. She has to do another show. She was busy. Okay.
Yeah, a lot going on.
And Nancy wasn't respecting the World Pro in Sandra's opinion, which was sanctity. Okay. No, the best when she talks about, you got everything that Sandra thinks about current skating in one line. In the show was when she's trying to push Carolyn to take ice dancers instead of pair skaters, and she's like, "Well, the current pairs are technical. And you know, I believe that about current skating as well. It's very technical.
Yeah. She's not wrong.
Listen, I want to see freedom, okay? And Shepard Clark will tell you, yes, the viewer fell in love with skating because they had a transformative experience where they were watching and living vicariously through the skater who was skating on the ice to music. And that's what's lost with the IJS. And that is where the ISU lost it. They can't get it back. I had this whole debate with Bruno Marcotte on the phone, okay? He was trying to tell me that the current skating is the good skating. And in that moment, I was
Doesn't
like,
mean the current skaters are not good skaters. It's just the system is not producing things that inspire like it could.
I blamed the Marcotte parents in that moment. Okay. I was like, this is why Jonathan is upset. Okay.
It all comes down to breeding. Yeah.
We were debating if Kurt Browning or Patrick Chan was better. And I was like, I understand that Patrick did more complex things. I still care more when Kurt does Casablanca.
Is the complexity beautiful? It can be complex for only complexity's sake. Patrick had amazing edges. Patrick had amazing skills.
I didn't care about him. I wasn't invested in Patrick like I'm invested in Kurt.
Correct. Because Patrick didn't have the freedom in the competitive arena to express beyond what he was doing.
It's psychological, because it's the psychological pressure of having to know that you have to do all of these details on the ice that weighs the skater down and doesn't allow them to connect with you the way that they used to.
Where is that abandon? There's no time for abandon.
How can you be abandoned when you know that you have to count your spin to this, to do that, to this, to that, to that, to that, to that? Right?
Does it make it a better spin?
No, I don't believe it does.
I think a headless, blurred scratch spin or something that's 8 bazillion miles an hour and super centered with great form at the end of the program is far more exciting than the stick your butt up for 4 revolutions, variation on the spin that just goes too slow.
Jonathan, here, we're going to have an exercise. Watch Isabeau Levito at the Nebelhorn Trophy.
Yeah.
And then watch Peggy Fleming at the 1968 Nationals. And you tell me who the better skater is.
Yeah. And again, it's not to say, what I think is so frustrating is it's robbing us of some of the performances this generation of skaters could be giving.
Yeah.
I think there are many capable skaters that are just not allowed or encouraged or given the space to pursue that kind of skating.
Yeah, it's really only in the dance discipline that we're really seeing those kind of performances still happen. But this current crop, we had, listen, 15 years of brilliant dancers, and now it's like the people who've stuck in through all. Yes, right. We're
in a lull at the moment.
In a lull, waiting for the new generation to emerge, right? But we've had nice moments like Piper and Paul Zabita at the Grand Prix final, right? But by and large, it's not Papadakis and Cizeron at 2019 Worlds or Virtue and Moyer doing Moulin Rouge. It's not the same. So, yeah. But let's talk about Isabeau. Jonathan, do you judge the team involved when the short program is an exact knockoff of Chalk and Bates and the free is a knockoff of Kolyada, which was already knocked off by Kane and Leduc and a million other skaters at this point?
But in both instances, they certainly did not knock off the costuming from either a Madison Chalk or a Kolyada.
When Isabeau 3 years ago, 4 years, when she did Kisas, perhaps, right? And Malagueña, she still was like young and fresh. But all of a sudden, it looks like somebody's Russian grandmother from Marivana started to just like put shit all over her over the last 3 years.
So bad. It was so, I say that not just to be like snarky about her outfit. No. It is legitimately that matronly, like beigey thing. It was such a miss.
The hair, like everything that they do to her.
Because there were cool moments in the short program, like the opening was interesting, the knee slide after her combo was interesting, but I'm just so distracted by the dress. It's not only not enhancing, it's detracting from my experience.
I feel stressed out watching her skate. I was talking to Alyssa about it. I said, like, what do you think the inherent problem is, right? And we broke it down as one should with Alyssa Sisney. You know, she'll really just tell you, you know, and one, the jump technique is bad, and you notice year to year it gets worse. She wrenches her back more, so that if she's not out with a back injury soon, it would be surprising, right? Just watch her low back
jump in a camel position.
By the way, I'm not rooting for a back injury. I'm just saying, look at what is happening on what she's doing on the takeoff, right? Okay, but Alyssa had a really good point. She goes, she's so bent over at the waist, and that's why they do all these ballet kind of choreography where she's like this. She goes, she's not engaging her glute muscles when she skates, and that's why she's bent over. And look at how upright Madison Hubble is when she skates, and it's because she's using her glute muscles. And I was like, oh my God. And then we talked about if Isabeau should be sent to Yuka, because I don't think the current moms know who Yuka is or what a queen she is, because she's been like out of the coaching game and out of the skating spotlight. Like, could we send Isabeau and Luca Broussard there for like 3 months, get them away from their like very stressed out coaches, and they could spend time with Yuka, whom everybody trusts, who she doesn't want to be a top level coach, but she would.
Yeah, but she would help.
Yeah. And we could just like teach them how to skate. And like and Alyssa was like, yes, she would have a bad year as she was adjusting, and then it would be better for the Olympics. Otherwise, it's too late. Because you just see, and this is like what the USFS needs to do, but they're too worried about quick fixes and immediate success to do this. But with Isabeau, like it's not going to last until the Olympics, like most likely, right? This is going down. And you could already see it from last year to this year, and like what was happening at Nebelhorn and how the practices go and all of those things. I mean,
that the core is not really there for her. You know, her kinds of falls are very specific to, it would seem, this kind of jumping approach, because when she sat down on the second half of her combo in the free skate, she literally, like, the body just like gave out.
Jonathan, when she does that in practice, she stays down. Like the music will still be playing. She'll stay down for like a minute. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes laying on the ice for like a minute. And not just at her home rink. Like this happened in Colorado the whole week before. Like there's a lot of drama. And remember, we saw just like a hint of it in a practice session last year, where you see these like little glimpses that like something is not right in the practice.
Yeah.
Which also means that something's not right with the coach, and right, like there's just little these moments that you see. But there are many instances when she's like laying on the ice, but like not in the way that I remember when Shoma was really disorganized, he would like flop on the ice and joke around. No, like she's standing down there like out of frustration,
like in a freeze. Yeah,
or in a pout or whatever, whatever, which means maybe skating isn't fun for you at this point. But if you notice, she didn't know how to get up, and then she was kind of lost, and it took her a while to get into that spiral.
Because again, falls happen, but it's that flow out where you're like, oh yeah, they went down, but they popped right back up. It didn't really take away from my enjoyment of the overall arc, but the program comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah, but the reason I think she looks like she doesn't cover much ice, I do believe it starts with the psychological pressure, right? And when you don't believe in your technique and you're slow in the jumps to muscle them, it's very Caroline Jang, which we know how that turns out. We've seen this before. And it's more of the same.
And just in like a hippy dippy way, I just have a sense that like her nervous system is like running rapid fire. And I don't see her be able to like settle and center, which could be around the training, around the pressure, whatever that is. But then what happens is, her strength was always, she was this extended, lovely balletic presence on the ice. But now a lot of that, even within the White Crow, in an outfit that Yevgenia Medvedeva's like mother would love, Medvedeva's mother, remember, with the scissors. But like even there's like a on point moment where she's doing a small turn to represent that balletic move, but everything is rushed. Everything is, it's not settled somehow. And so I'm finding it less enjoyable to watch now than perhaps I did in Nashville.
Yes, and I do find it like watching like it's like watching a car accident in slow motion where you know that this is going to go very badly, right? This is, it's happening again.
No one's making any changes.
No, and we're going to get into the USFS and bigger reasons that it's happening every which way. Okay, they are so out of their depth.
When it's like you're saying, if you're too immediately focused, you're being penny smart, dollar stupid. And she takes the season, lets it be rocky, but is ultimately solidifying things that will help her in the big picture win a bigger prize. Why aren't you taking it?
So there was a skater at the Broadmoor Open, a skater who trains in Colorado, so it's not the altitude, okay? Jonathan, they collapsed during the program. And they couldn't get the skater up in front of an audience, in front of the judges, okay? They had to put blankets over the skater before the paramedics could come. The skater's not injured. There are rumors it has happened in practice. And the skater has an international assignment coming up. Are they going to pull that?
What was it determined happened?
It could be a number of things, right? I mean, I don't, you know, I'm not the doctor, but like an intelligent person could guess, right? And you have to wonder, like, okay, what's USFS's role in then signing off on this person go to international competition? And if they get pulled
100 times, yeah.
What? Like, yeah, you know, what could happen? So, yeah. And this is right in their backyard. It's not like they wouldn't know.
Right.
So are they thinking long-term about Isabeau's jump technique? I don't believe that they're.
No, or they just need some medals on the Grand Prix this season. Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't they file an appeal in the Valyeva case? They let WADA do it. They let this one do it. They did, and then now they don't have a seat at the trial. And Vincent Joe speaks out. Well, what did your federation do or not do in this situation?
Right.
What did the USOC do? Were they playing a political game to let other people do it? And now they're like, your back is up against the wall and you're like, oh, we really don't have a voice here. Well, it's more of the same, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
How did US figure skating have the biggest contract in TV? They had champions for how many? Like almost 100 years, right? And singles, right? Especially since the late 1940s. And then they let the scoring system change, which only then hurt their own skaters.
Well, and remember, they were holding everyone back. They were still competing everyone 6-0 in the younger stages after it moved. And it's like, what are you doing?
Think about the people who are respected in figure skating that were part of the World Skating Federation, who were then only alienated. Dick Button, Paul Wiley, all of those people who were like luminaries, Scott Hamilton, like all of these people who were involved, right? And they went the other way to maintain the status quo, which then only hurt the sport.
Right.
When every champion was like, no, right? But they did a great job gaslighting everyone to keep it going, right? They did a great job. You know? Yeah. Yeah, we see you.
Yeah.
So I digress, but yeah, I don't have faith in them to do the right thing there. And what if that happened at a Grand Prix?
Right.
Okay. All right. So then we have that. I have to say, I think Kimmy Repond, I think David Wilson did a genius job with her. And the packaging of her dress in the free skate is so brilliant. I mean, she was one missed jump away from really like deserving the win over Isabeau.
I mean, she won the free skate.
Yeah.
She beat Isabeau in the free skate.
And deservedly. Her
Yeah.
back and upper body is, she uses it so well. The choreography.
Arms are so fully extended at all times. It's fantastic.
Is And I was texting with David Wilson and I said, she's a free leg away from being a really phenomenal skater. Like if the free leg can just be turned out.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't mean that she needs to go to his friend Brian Orser because he never fixed Yuna's free leg, right? That did not get fixed, okay? And Medvedeva's camel did not get fixed because Brian's own camel was not the moment. I think we need like Frank Carroll to be like, Kimmy, turn out your free leg. And work with her on how to do it, right? And build those muscles. So
isn't that the Dick Button quote when he was watching Yuna?
yes.
He's like, turn your foot on, my dear. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But the arms are so lovely.
Incredible.
So extended, so graceful, so elegant.
The choreography after the Lutz by itself in the free is so amazing with those inside bower like movement. Oh my God.
And I was thinking about this, like, who's in her way for Europeans? Just Lena?
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's got that, please.
Right?
Yeah.
I was trying to think if there was someone else I was forgetting.
Struggling. If you watch, like Luna was only doing sows in the show over the summer. And I think she's adjusting to doing, like she did a lot of shows, worlds after to get back into training. And the jumps have always been kind of under. And last year, I think Kimmy has the up. I really see a big turning of the tide.
Govanova will be there, but I think Kimmy is looking quite good for it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to say like Cowrie to me just looked tired.
Yeah.
The last position that we saw her. And she doesn't have programs that inspire. How did Cowrie go from having the two best programs in skating last season and neither one this year inspires anything?
I mean, slim pickings last year in the women's event, in my opinion. She didn't have much.
Yeah, but like she had programs that everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I would advise Cowrie, go back to two old programs. Go back to the Benoit woman program. Who knows? But these are not it for her.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah. I don't see this season going well. She just looks exhausted.
And to the point of that exhaustion is maybe she just needed time. Not only not to be competing these programs so much already, but also take your time in getting them. Why do they have to be ready in July? Take your sweet time, get your programs, and let's see them in late September when you've had the time to luxuriate in the ideas and with the material and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, she went from being young and vibrant to like old and dated in both programs.
Tired. It's just the fatigue, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very upsetting.
Yeah.
How about the men? Okay. Adam Siao Him Fa. Gorgeous quad lutz.
Yeah, he was pretty close in the short program with it. Did the Tuktumishiva twizzle out. But the one in that free skate was killer.
Yes. He did look like he was wearing a couch print in the free skate. That was not a good. And what were the sound effects that Benoit added to that music?
I was very confused because the music was changing a lot, so I assume it's a soundtrack. There was a lot of typewriter in the beginning. Is that what that was? And such a specific pantomime that, to Adam's credit, he delivers with great conviction. I just don't know what's happening. He's like taking off his skin or something. Like I wasn't really following the storyline of this program.
And I find with the pantomiming, usually a great program has like highs and lows, like shades, right? Of like light and dark and right. No, this program is like all one level. He was behind the music and rushing the whole time.
Well, we love him as an artist. And now that they've really revved up the technical content, there's a great deal of technical content in there. I
didn't sign up on loving him like an artist. I do not sign off on Benoit.
I love his commitment to it. He was always committed to his programs. Even if I didn't care for the program, like he was in it.
I like that he's committed to it. Yeah, but it's very angular and bent at the waist and
out.
The free leg is never stretched. No, don't be saying I love him as an artist. I like it as an idea.
We appreciate his commitment to selling a program. And in this one, it's sort of the commitment was in and out, as I think now the weight of the jump preparation is weighing on him a bit. But he does in both programs it's just like an open single butterfly. I don't know what that is, but it's stunning. It's almost like it's just this like little open moment, and he does it in both programs, and big fan. It's just lovely.
The wild French technique on the axle scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah. Although nailed it in the short with the music, but it is always like a white knuckled moment. Yeah. Yeah.
That French.
And to honor you, Dave, in the short, he did that huge open lunge with like the open chest. It was really, really lovely.
Yeah. In general, like, I think he could have a very successful season if he could get consistent.
Yeah.
The Benoit does a lot of 2-foot skating, right? And it's a lot of the weight between the legs, and I don't love it. But
these programs don't stand out as much, I think, as previous seasons. But I wonder also, is some of it missing? Because I think really it was about throwing out all of that technical content in this free.
Did the alien come back at some point in his free skate? What was there was one moment where the hand
I wasn't following.
I thought Kazuki was lovely. Just watch.
The short program was a little bit like Keegan reminiscent, the music.
But,
I don't know, just, for me. But he still skated it beautifully. But there's something, I think of him as like exuberant and joyously energetic. This was all sensitive and light, his free skate. And I was like, it's not what I would have thought brought out with him.
The choreography is like not good enough to bring it, and his free leg is not stretched enough for the free music. He struggles with that free leg and the extension, which we've talked to Misha about. And they're working on it, but he doesn't have that finish through his, and he needs it, especially for that piece.
Energy.
I think he could switch the free back before Japanese nationals, like go back to La La Land, and it would just be much better. I think we'd have missed it, right? And then they can like figure it out. But I don't think that this free is the right choice for him, but maybe let him do 1 or 2 competitions and then go back.
Yeah, because I think as a performer, he can make more of an impact. These were just not designed to be super impactful programs. They were a bit more reflective or something.
His strength, it's not even the exuberance, it's his love of skating and connecting with an audience. It's his heart, right? The way they would say Michelle's heart on that spiral came alive. That's what he has, that more than Shoma, more than anyone. And he takes you on that ride with you that's so missing in this very technical skating. And that is his strength, and they need to emphasize that.
Yeah.
And it's missing in the free skate.
Yeah.
So muted, it's just not happening.
Subtle and simple or something.
All right, how do you feel about Luca Broussard? Again, ever since he had that problem at Junior Worlds, I feel very nervous for him when he's out there, and I think the triple axel has become a struggle for him, right? I think there's probably still nerves there.
And only for the double and the short.
I think he needs that Yuka mentorship, right, to settle him down and get the confidence going.
It's come out on occasion, but yes, it's clear to me that they're not really programming it in the short, that it's still not reliable. Although going for the quad in both programs, sad he fell on it in the short program to the text, don't let yourself go. But it was closer in the free skate. Like, but the axle seems to be one of those that is more problematic than even the quad.
Yeah.
But he's committed also the short program opening in particular, every single move, like with the utmost physical commitment. I just feel like in the free skate, it was going like in and out. Like you'd get like the most gorgeous extended spiral position ever. And then suddenly a few seconds later, there's some arbitrary arms. And I think he has the potential for greatness.
And they try to do good music choices with him. I appreciate the effort with that. The free costume is only slightly better than Isabeau's. So
yeah, the first thing I wrote here, and I'm sorry to say it, but that is the first impression, is you see him come out and I'm like, hate the shirt. It's distracting.
I like the short program costume, but the free, I hate it. I hate it. Just politely, I hate it. Okay, like,
yeah.
And he has the ingredients to be. I think Paul Wiley could help him with that free leg. Really, like,
and he is showing the potential for what it can do, because sometimes
he has the potential for real greatness.
Yeah,
but with him, I think it's mental and anxiety and owning his own talent.
Okay,
and I think with him, they need to work on the mind right now, and his own independence from the coach out there. Like, I would bring in other people or send him places to mature that a little bit, and because he has this ability to really replace Jason Brown as that more well-rounded skater on the ice, and they could have him work with like some of the real greats, and I think he has that potential. Listen, we're never going to get it from Ilya Malin. Okay, my friend watched Ilya Malin. He would go to her rink in Maryland on the weekends, and she said that when Ilya would practice that free skate, if the quad axel was missed, they would turn off the music and restart.
I mean,
you can tell that that's where the focus is.
Right.
Yeah.
Insert Sandra's comment about Mickey Ando here. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So,
I mean, Koshiro here had two lovely programs. He did the sing, which of course is ironic because there's no singing. And although he fell on the triple axel, like the quad sao was good. He's got loose, like casual shoulders. So it's giving you the idea, whether it's artificial or not, someone's really at ease out there. And that is like how you're saying we can get nervous for someone like a Luca. This is, we're relaxed because that person seems so relaxed.
He's very pleasant and easy to watch in that.
It's not historically important.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the Japanese men are so deep.
Yeah.
Anytime someone makes a misstep, I'm like,
a fall on a triple axel in the short program, for example, would constitute a big one in that deep a field. Yeah.
And they're not doing body of work necessarily, right? So, I mean, they sort of do when Koshiro finishes on the top. But yes, they, it's just...
For example. Yeah, okay.
So just for the Junior Grand Prix, just two comments. People will get mad if we don't talk about both. And Jia Shin, I think, had the most complete package of the women this season, especially in terms of jumps. Like, I just think
when Midori Ito came back in 1996, and was she skating to like Little Mermaid or something like that at that Worlds? She was wearing that like purple dress with like the flowers,
which Mao later borrowed, yes, and
later Jia Shin borrowed. It's almost like the same colorway. Do you know what I mean? It's like same colorway overall.
Not a compliment. Not a compliment. Okay. And the other thing is, on the podium, the Ukrainians really let us know what they felt about people switching countries, because the Russians who represent Georgia, they snubbed them on the podium. And it's real, because it's so funny is that we have like this this Georgian fan, Josip, who will go like crazy for Kubanova winning and act like she's really Georgian, but no, she lives and trains in Russia. You know, that's and I liked that the Ukrainians called it out. Good for them. You know,
say whatever you want, but
I like a little in the podium like that.
I also enjoyed. There was something about the second place skater from Korea, the lady here, the female woman, with the triple axel attempt that didn't quite go her way. But she skated in the free skate to one of the pieces that I think is so underused in skating, for especially the type of ethereal skaters we have out there, which is this Von Williams, the Lark Ascending. Now, having said that, say it again.
Luna used it, 2006, 2007.
Okay, there it is. But I mean, like, the idea that the Lark is ascending, there is, unfortunately, they missed like this sort of awakening of the lark. Like it starts so beautifully and then keeps building. And then of course she starts and she's flailing about from step one. But there's also something lovely about her overall performances, I thought.
I miss like getting introduced to new music with skating.
Yeah.
I did love the lark ascending, but I realized I never listened to the full Lyra Angelica before. Do you know it's like 30 minutes? And that the part that Michelle used is like only at the end. Like it was just like I played that this week for myself. It was very nice. It was a nice experience, Jonathan. I really enjoyed that journey.
Even the Rachmaninoff cello and piano sonatas and stuff like that. Like, especially as a young person, like skating introduced me to a lot of great music.
Yes.
As opposed to like, oh, this song, you know.
Yeah, so it was intriguing. Yeah, we don't get those education music anymore.
No, I can't tell you the last time I looked up a song in a positive way because I heard it and liked it in a skating program.
When I was in middle school in band, we played some music that was like familiar with skating. We played Jurassic Park when I was in 5th grade in concert band. I was living and having a Tanya moment every time. And I remember playing it. And I was not a great saxophone player, but I loved playing Jurassic Park. And then I had a solo to take 5 on the tenor sax in jazz band in 7th grade. I'm like, I was having my Lucien moment, okay? Like basically thinking that like, you know, the part where the drums takes the melody is particularly fascinating, right? Like this is what we were really like living.
I started the Chopin Polonaise because it was Zarudniak had done it at Europeans, and I was like, Dick Button made some comment where he's like, every serious music student should be working on this, and I immediately was like, get me that music. Yeah.
My best friend used to play Moonlight Sonata before we were like before bands started with love. Okay, just living. Okay, yes, all right. Anyway, you know, skating used to be about music. It was for the nerds. Okay, now we don't know who it's for anymore. I don't know.
Now it's for mathematicians and like
athletes. It's the mathletes. Yes, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm still looking for the art.
Yeah. So moving along.
The real conversation of Nebelhorn.
Rocky.
Well, dance in general.
Yes, but let's do Rocky first. Let's do Rocky.
We have to. Okay.
Yes, we have. Do you think it was they made a lot of changes?
Well, first let's start with the rhythm dance.
Okay.
What'd you make of the rhythm dance here?
Okay. In general, both of their programs almost work very well for me. I think that there are some brilliant ideas in Sweet Dreams, though it has become overdone. The second, when they're the long longitudinal, right, they're on the long boards, right? And they're on the side where it's the short board ready to go across. And they come down and they get on the, like they, like lose and they're like sitting like this and then they get back up, and that to me is such cool choreography.
Is that the part where like their legs come out with the music?
Yes, it's so cool.
It's a great moment. The other moment being it was right before the Twizzles and he does this like pull through move. Very, very cool.
When he drags her and she's like, and her legs are like in a triangle position. It's great. To me, the last minute is tough, and that's like the meat and potatoes of the skating. And to me, the weakness of this team is the classic skating. It's just glaring.
What's the part that slowed down the program the most from an enjoyment standpoint, I thought?
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a strength to have it end the rhythm dance.
Yeah.
In general, you know, the Rocky program is new. It needs more time because they made a ton of changes to it. I think the new music is better than the last. I don't think that this should be the final edit. I think it needs a lot of work. I sort of liked the cover that they put in. It's like the 3rd piece of music now, or 4th, the female singing. Okay. First of all, Rocky is a love story. One of the themes. But in this program, are they both Rocky? And why are they both Rocky?
Wait, and is he training her? Like in some of the sparring moments, like I was like, are you her coach?
Have they seen the Rocky movies? I watched them all when I was a kid. My mom brought them home for the library, and my sister and I just watched them all in a week, like in a marathon. They're great to watch. 1 through 4. 5 is terrible. It's like almost as bad as The Godfather Part 3. I think that they should watch the Rocky movies first. Maybe she should be Adrian, okay? And maybe this would like work a little. I don't know. I can't tell. Is it like a campy send-up of Rocky? Is that what the program is? I think we don't know. Are they laughing with Rocky, at Rocky? It's a spoof, or it's not, or...
And the problem is some of the gimmicks and gags are overused. Like, so all of this like fake kickboxing, sparring, whatever the hell it is, it is often throughout the program, and very rarely are they moving their skates.
Yeah.
It's like now every time you're forcing us to not watch you skate, but just pantomime this like boxing fight. And same with the jump rope. It's bad enough one time, but it comes in the twizzles, and then it comes later. And there are a couple of moments like she does this kick out of their, do they call it a pairs spin, dance spin, whatever they call it?
Yes.
And like she exits with the legs. And to me, I was like, now there you could make, Madison Chalk would make that the climax of the program. And here it just goes by and we're just running to the next pantomime.
I'm curious if they do Pilates. I don't know, but I think she really needs it for her extension. And I get like her kneecaps may just be very Tarrant Humphrey in that way. And there might not be a lot they can do, but I think that the lack of extension is a problem. And how she holds her
body. I think he has it.
Yes.
Or could have it even more if allowed to. Yeah.
This is going to be, I like them so much, and I think that they have so much personality. This is not a great program yet, right? But I don't think that they've found it. Like, I don't think they know what the real story or theme is, right?
So what's the point of view of this? Like, it's just like
it doesn't have a clear point of view. Right? Like it's
which one student, just pick one. Yeah.
It was like a Halloween theme party. It feels like a theme party rather than a program to me, right? I don't believe that they actually watch the movies. Rocky's actually like inspirational, and I don't feel like this program has it. It's sort of cheeky, but not. And here's the thing with Olivia Smart, which I do believe that this program, Olivia Smart had a program about sword fighting, and they're like, oh, we could have a program about boxing. Yeah. But when Olivia Smart...
Their sword fighting involved complex steps.
And it was not making fun of it. It wasn't making fun of sword fighting. It was like celebrating and making it cool. This is like cheeky. At least they got rid of the push-ups, which was too much, right? But I even noticed like, and the actual skating of this program needs a lot of work. There's even a point, the difference in ability is so glaring, and some of the movements that they do just like overemphasizes the difference. And like, I don't know if they can sort this out, but even when they do this like knee slide, when they lean back, his back goes all the way down to the ice, and she's like at 45 degrees. And you're like, oh, even that, like, and it just looks messy because it's not the same.
Right.
And Papadakis did get a lot better with the skating. And I think that it really goes back to like basic skating and stroking. You know, Piper and Paul do like 45 minutes to an hour of stroking every day. And I think that's what this team needs. And I know that that's not like built into their schedule at Montreal, but this team
needs it.
And they could be amazing because they have the personality, but they need that extra hour of stroking to really do it, because against the other top teams, their skating is smaller than them in the size of the patterns. And I think that they could really move ahead, but they need work on the skating. And then this idea with Rocky, I think they can figure it out. But yeah, like it needs a little more edge or something, and less cheeky camp. It's just off.
More skating. Again, all of the campy moments that have been left in, again, involve very little skating. So I'm like, it's like a double whammy. It's like, again, if someone was to sing a song but mainly talk it, you know, I was like, this is a Band-Aid move somehow.
The vibe is confusing of the Free. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Especially if you've ever seen Rocky. You're like, all right.
But even if you haven't, if they were clear on the version they were presenting or clear on the dynamic between the two of them, we would buy it. We wouldn't have to see it in order to make sense of it. But
I think they've become known as the campy team. And each year they try to like outdo that campiness, but there needs to be more substance behind, because great camp has that substance behind it.
Yes.
And I don't think this comes from a place of substance underneath it, right? And because at the end, when she's on his arms, that would be a cool moment, but you were never on a journey with them through the program.
Yeah, it's like, I thought you were training each other, and now you're...
I do like how they go against the boards and they kick at the same time. Like, that's a cool moment. But in general, I'm not as invested in this program as previous programs that they've done. And I just think it needs to go back to the drawing board. It's just not right. And I do think that they need that Piper and Paul attention to the stroking, especially they've moved up into the upper echelon of dance teams. So now we're looking at them.
Yeah.
Listen, they used to be that fun team in 10th place. They were then that fun team in like 7th, 6th. Well, now they've really moved up. And now we're really looking at them for titles. And the basic skating has to be there. And it's not. So, yeah. What did you make of the other teams? All I could hear is Renee Roca in my head when Allison Reed was skating.
I thought the same. Yeah. And actually, in many ways, the same comment applies.
Listen, they've had a lot of weird coaches that haven't allowed them to have like really nice themes over the years. To me, I thought that their elements were better than the presentation because the music was awful in the free.
Like, for instance, in the rhythm dance, the Twizzles were so incredibly in sync, and yet the overall program left me with nothing. And the free dance, like the rotational lift, like entry and all that sort of stuff, was such a cool element, but the program could not hold my interest. It was really hard to stay focused for their programs for me.
I couldn't do it. I just didn't enjoy it. Yeah, it was just
interesting because they were so solidly in second, and ever since Europeans, am intrigued by this Finnish team, and yet
love.
And they had some Benoit-ish moments, but and she looked a little bit like she was paying homage to Susanna Rock rhythm dance. But the free dance is lovely opening, and their rotational lift is so fast. They take up space. She knows how to be in the air on the lifts. The spins are great. There's a part where like he's laying on her back and upside down with the hands or something, and she's up with the hands, and they're creating these gorgeous pictures. To me, I was like, oh, they didn't win? I don't know. I would have definitely had them above the Lithuanian team.
I would have had them second. Well, their school doesn't have all of those countries right behind them. That is how. And that's not against the shade. I thought Allison Reed did a very good job and skated very well. I just don't think that their programs enhanced anything.
Yeah, and I don't know, nice moments, they just didn't add up for me.
I don't know who they are as a team.
Yeah.
That they're quality skaters, but I don't know who they are in terms of a personality or a vision.
I do know who the Finnish skaters are.
And I like it. They also picked better 80s songs than other people. I didn't think that the edit was quite well done in terms of like the proportionality or the switching, but they picked songs, Brooke Tufts, pay attention, that were different than what everyone was doing, right? And I liked that about it. I don't know about the costume and the rhythm dance, but I thought that it was well done.
Didn't it look at I thought Susanna Rockamo had like that exact like cut up black netty kind of dress and something. I'll have to do a Google search for like an exhibition or something in '94. I have to double check.
You know, Christina and Anthony, it's almost good.
I know, but why isn't it?
the ability. It's like the ability, and then they're almost the team that like Hubble and Scott Moyer are like learning on, which I think Charlie White actually needs for his teams, right? And they're working out their kinks. I think that the Stevie Nicks idea is really great. I don't think that the first song works so well in the rhythm dance, or again,
they're ignoring every big musical moment in the rhythm dance. Every single one. They'll put like a move like 10 seconds after the big climax in the music. It was so baffling to me. And the pattern looks so slow and so like choppy mechanical or something. I was just disconnected.
Issues with the ankle, and I really think that it has inhibited his basic ability and maybe his confidence.
Okay.
But it's holding them back, and I don't know if they've hit a ceiling. They get better at what they have, but they need to improve more to really push. And Zingis and Lesnick are going this week, and I think they have the opportunity to really move ahead of this team.
Who does?
In Zingis and Kolesnik.
Oh, yes, I felt that last year. But it's interesting because he just appears a little unsteady, and then she appears a little not fully extended. And you said at some point, and I can't remember who it was, but I loved the expression where you're like, this team, whoever it was, I think it was an American ice team, like ice dance team several years ago, you were like, you have to give us another reason to look at you again.
Yeah.
To switch something up that requires we all look at you through a new lens one more time. Because right now, it's like, oh yeah.
I think Hubble really tried with the Stevie Nicks music, and I think it was a good idea. I think there are things that could be enhanced and improved. I think it was a better idea than things that she picked for her and Zach, although I think the free is not a great idea for them. I didn't think it worked for Sherbakova, and I don't think it works for them. We don't know this story, okay? I don't care about this story, right? I think in general, he struggles with bending his ankles when he skates, which
is kind of crucial, I would think.
But I think that has to do with the ankle injury, but it goes to like the basic skating ability and the articulation, that there's like an issue there. So, and then I think it goes to his posture that makes him look a little bent over and the butt sticks out and things like that. And it's just not as refined as some of.
Doesn't pull me in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be a struggle for them. I think they're going to keep having that Tanya Kwiatkowski energy. I'm also confused why Lorraine is still skating at this point. I mean, how many times have you been fifth or sixth and not moving up? And basically, Jonathan, show me their program from last year was the same theme as the program this year, just in a different color costume. It's monochromatic. She has like sort of booty shorts on, while we're basically copying what Caroline and Michael did in Nashville that you loved that season.
I did.
But basically, okay, we've seen 3 years of this, 2 of them being from Lorraine and 1 being from Caroline. I'm just thinking that this, after the more we learn about this team from Virginia, I just think that they have absolutely zero taste. I just think that the coaches have zero taste.
Is it about, I'm trying to decide, is this American skating? I think it might be a lot of international skating as well, where there's this idea of, oh, we'll just look like everyone else. We'll just continue doing the same. We don't want to stick out. We don't want to make a statement. And I was like, every skater that matters breaks the mold. So I don't understand why everyone else is just merely trying to mimic and like slot into something that's already been done and oftentimes done better.
I don't know that this school of Russian coaches is about bringing out the best in their skaters. I don't know that they have the emotional intelligence for that. I mean, even look at Diana and Gleb, you know, they're doing a Swan Lake that has been done 1,000 times, and it's completely derivative and not special. And
done so much better.
Yes, and Gleb is a phenomenal skater. Okay, wow. Gleb is really fantastic. Okay, and Terry picked a great one. Okay, she really did. Can't say the same about Diana, but the program is not it, right? So I just don't think that this program has a point of view. But I think I learned this week that another top ice dance coach from the US wouldn't even meet with Eteri in public, met her in a parking lot to say no before they contacted Kiliakov. So this was not Eteri's first choice, not her second choice, not her third choice. And I think that it looks like that when you, with this kind of team and their packaging. It's just not it. And I think they've often struggled with programs over the years. They've had a couple better ones than others.
One been given genres that help them hide, or her hide in particular. Yeah.
But I don't think that this is the moment. So
yeah, it's unusual that an ice dance team is doing Swan Lake to showcase the man.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Unusual. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Rudy Galindo didn't have another person to compete for attention with him. But just, What did you think of pairs? I have to say that I thought that the winners were quite enjoyable here and have a ton of potential. Minerva. I thought that that they were really impressive to me in pairs. Minerva.
Technical?
What? I'm sorry?
Did you find them technical?
I did find them technical. I found the music done, but they had some nice line and quality overall. Matteo Guarisi doing cats. Again, why the roller skating costumes every year?
Even with the new partner.
I know. And like the thing is, he's so handsome.
He really is.
He skates like a roller skater. There's no rise and fall of the knee. I think because roller skaters are so physically strong from skating on wheels, right? That they never like develop that nuance for the ice because they can just barrel across. So it's like watching Brandon Fraser. It stays on one plane, right?
It's just funny because at this point he has to be skating as long as he ever roller skated.
I think it's that inherent.
It's just too ingrained, yeah.
And I think that because they're so physically strong, they just don't learn. This is what I think happens. It's almost like when Surya learned how to skate and she had so much ability because she was a gymnast that she could do all of the tricks. She didn't have to learn to be a good skater to do.
She didn't need the right technique in order to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the skating skills should enhance everything else. And that's what's like, it's like the missing link.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that that's the problem. I think he probably could go from wheels to the ice and do his jumps very quickly. Figured it out.
Yeah.
Before he really learned how to skate. Okay. And then the bad music, and I don't even know. And when we get to Jennifer Hudson singing Memory, I'm like, is this supposed to be emotional? Is this?
No, that was even just from like a film standpoint. And I understand why on paper someone was like, oh, I bet she great. It's way too low for her, so it's going to hit all the wrong spots. I never thought that was a win for her. And she has great vocal moments in life. But this certainly was not the right fit for her. It never clicked for me, this interpretation.
Now, Leah and Trent, I felt like that's a pair that Megan would like, and I do not. And I think that this is like, I think that you either love Deanna or you sort of, to me, this team reminds me of the Hartzels. My first coach used to talk about Bobrova and Soloviev, and she used to say that they were like a piece of meat with no salt and no pepper. And I think that that's what this team reminds me of,
a pinch of Meldonium.
Well, on Bobrova, not on this team. The lifts would be better. She has no positions in the lifts ever. And I get that they're hitting levels, so I think Megan appreciates the levels, but the aesthetics are not there. I don't see it. I think it's better than he looked with Evelyn.
Her excitement was just at how quickly it was all gelling.
I don't know. There's no transitions. There's no pictures. There's no art. There's nothing like. I don't get it. Either one like loves skating for like the artistic point. I think maybe they like doing technical tricks, but there's zero sophistication.
Even like, because we all know Megan also loved Broussard and Eisler. He became a bit problematic, but like in the day, yes, they were just about those big tricks, but there was such excitement when they were doing them from them. Like the 94, the bronze medal finish. They are having a great time out there. No, it's not my brand of artistry or presentation or any of that. But you saw people just having the time of their lives doing these big thrilling tricks that they were so proud of. And you learn to like go with it. It's not my thing. I think they ended where they should have, but it can still pull you in a way. And this again seems more about getting a job done, which is never interesting to me.
I don't know. And the Gladiator, the whole thing for me is such a mess. And there's been buzz behind this team because I think they have a Canadian team that can land things. So everyone's like, oh, yay. But there's no style. There's no quality. There's no. Deanna and Max are like 10,000 times better, even if they make mistakes.
They're more interesting also in what they're trying to say.
They have line, Jonathan. They have this team, none of that. No, I watch this team and I'm like, I wonder who they are trying to model themselves after. What do they think good skaters?
Back to the question, who are their favorite skaters?
Yeah.
I'd be intrigued to hear the answer to that.
To me, I'm like looking, I'm like program components. I wouldn't go above a 7. Right? Like I'm just thinking, like I don't get it. It's like watching the Hartzels, and I get that the Stieglers didn't have the best thing, but you either appreciate someone who had a vision, or like meat and potatoes, right? Like no salt, no pepper. Like I just.
In singing, I will always say someone is functional.
Ooh, like is that like technical? The skaters are very technical.
It's a functional soprano. Yeah, she could do the part. I don't want to see it. It won't make me feel anything, but she could do it. Yeah, that kind of sentiment.
Brady Tennell, functional. She's trying to be artistic now with this Greta.
Yeah, I mean, again, whether it's your brand or not, I do appreciate when it is clear that
the Rachel Flat functional as a senior lady.
Not until she came back.
Okay.
It wasn't functional because she wasn't rotating. And then again, they were so surprised by that Olympic thing. I'm still stuck on that potato commercial. But do you remember those? Was it Colorado potatoes? Because any day of training without a stud is a dud or something. And I was like, oh, God.
One of my best friends, who you know, worked for her agent, and the agent thought that she could influence what was being said on my blog at the time.
Oh.
But was never nice to me or kind in any way. And I just never thought that it was a functional skater that I wanted to see. And I felt like it was being shoved down our throats very aggressively, which is...
And no one bought it. No one bought it. Right. Or the potatoes. I mean, it was interesting. When did she come back?
She went to Stanford. She's trying to do good things for skating, and great for her. Her actual... And you know what? The last year at Nationals, I freaking loved that short program.
In 2014, when she kind of was clearly in her own driver's seat, and you were like, aha, something is...
Away from Tom Z, right? Away from Tom... Right? Yeah. That I like.
I found that one of her most interesting performances. Which
everything put on her in like a suffocated fashion, and it didn't work, and he couldn't figure out why.
Yeah. Funny that.
Oh my God, the worst being the program in 2011. That was the worst.
Why am I not remembering which one?
The slaughter on 10th Avenue.
Oh, yes.
And remember, she cut her hair, and that was like the talking point for every program. She has a sassy new hairdo. Oh my God, it was in every article.
Oh my God. It was like 80s commentary.
Andrea Joyce would tell us every time on Universal Sports, and then it would be on Ice Network. Yes, they had like the talking points. But do you remember, they got like her in a million articles the year before, and they would tell us every AP class that she took. They would never tell us about her as a skater. It would be about the classes she took off the ice, which was
smart, be kind. Yeah.
Yes. They weren't saying anything about this skate. They never once said she's a beautiful skater. No, she is in 16 AP classes. And you're like, oh, there's a disconnect there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Able to draw those lines.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what? She came back, and that program was so fabulous that Jeremy used it the next year.
Yes,
Remember,
there was a moment of ownership of her own skating that, even though obviously
she had an outside spread eagle moment at the Nationals in Boston, and it was
not something you expected from a Rachel Flatt.
No, and I remember I tweeted it at her, and like they replied, like, very happy to end on a good note with you. I was very critical of Rachel Flatt skating. Okay, like I really was.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I disliked Tom Z until I saw Tom Z. Yeah, it was the era of Tom Z, and it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the end for the US.
I was troubled. I was troubled. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. There are some people that shouldn't coach women's skaters, and in my opinion, Tom is one of them. Yeah, I don't think he understands the inherent artistry of women's skating. I think he understands the jumps in men's skating. Yeah, and yes, you could tell me that he gave Mirai Nagasu a triple axel, but where was the other choreography in that program?
Right.
I don't think he has a point of view for women's skating. And if you see Mirai skate now, she's like gorgeous.
Well, she was before also. Yeah.
Like I feel like when you go to Tom Z, it's like your functional era, right? Like it's your
function. Yeah.
Yes.
The Mirai we saw in 2010 was very different.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but it was what was your moment of the week, John?
I think it might be like, this is a tough one because it was just like a lot of taking in. Nothing was really moving me too much. I would say the Finnish free dance.
Okay, so there's a moment in the Finnish ice dance team where their arms go, and his arm is like here, and hers is here, and then they like shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm into it. I think it was great. And this week we have a lot to look forward to. Christine Brennan is in Switzerland for that here.
Okay.
We're going to be doing some stuff together. And I said, and she was like, we'll plan a time. And I said, Christine, I will wake up at 3 a.m.
You're going to have to.
I was like, listen, I will talk to you like you are Elizabeth Vargas in Fallujah, or wherever. Where was the Mennonites? Fallujah. One of them is in the Middle East, and one of them is in Italy. Okay, and that is where and Elizabeth Vargas was constantly there, covering the Amanda Knox trial. And in my mind, that's what Christine will be playing this role this week. Yes.
Okay. Playing part of. Okay.
I'm into it. So yeah, I'm excited. Hold it, it looks sexy.